some of your accomplishments were as mayor.
Well, of course, the key to a lot of this is that it's you only accomplish it if you get council folk to go along with you and actually work hard with you. Doug Jackson was here today. Doug had a lot to do with the stuff what we did over the years. The early council folk, Kathy Young, Harold Penley, who in the early years I always sat next to Harold. I was the new guy, so I'm way over here at the end of the table, away from everybody else. Harold was there kind of letting me know what to do, so it was very helpful.
Okay.
I think we're sitting in the building. That was a truly great accomplishment by a lot of people, not just the mayor, and a few council people. Many of you might not recall the building that used to be here. When I first go on council, that is still where the council was meeting. There was a one part of it was a beautiful, nice old building that civilian conservation corps back in the 30s built. It is truly, it was beautiful. The town hall that exists today, I want to say we moved in the year 2001. That building stops being used. It's got some problems. The old part of the building, the nice, beautiful part of the building, has developed some serious issues in the upper structure of the building. We've got my first many years on council. That was the absolute expectation. You are not tearing down that building. So what are you going to do to work around those problems? And the problem was we kept coming up with ideas to work around those problems. There was no good idea. So actually, a key move was made. While I'm not on council, I have nothing to do with this whatsoever. Doug Jackson was on council, a bunch of other people were on council. And what they do is they say, okay, we don't know what we're going to replace that building with, but we know we cannot use that building, so we're going to tear it down. So that is gone by the time I come back in as mayor in 2017. And so the issue then becomes, what are we going to do instead? Now, one thing that had always driven me a bit crazy, and this was not bad faith on anybody's part, it was just a reality of the budgeting process, is you would generate your budget every year for a July 1 date, and so you're looking at things in March, April, May, June, what your financial situation is. On the other hand, through the magic of accounting, you've got your reserve fund building up, your rainy day fund, if you will. Now, the trick about this fund is you basically close the books and see, okay, what are the true numbers of that fund. You do it January 1st. The January town council meeting, no, they didn't do bad that year at all, because what would happen would be you would have always, and this was a very good idea, conservative budget. And so we were actually able to build this building with money on hand. We did do a few little minor things. We did a conservation easement, stuff like that, to bring other money in. But we were able to build this building without borrowing money. Now that you had the old building out of the way, and so you weren't thinking anymore about that, there was a lot of thought then to be given to how do you make this building work. Two folks, one set of folks, and one person, I give a lot of credit to. This first is the museum, the volunteers at the museum, which early on we set upon the idea, put the museum out front, where you walk into the building, those ladies, and it was ladies back then, still basically, but then it really was the ladies, to be there most days of the week, so you would have a presence in the building. It would speak to the history of Weaverville. And so that was an early decision made. We would do that, and y'all have done a wonderful job of, I think, meeting the vision that the town had. But I'm also going to mention a particular person, Tom Balistrieri, who you would have seen his name in the past. He's now stepped back. Tom comes to the town fairly early on and volunteers to take on the idea of developing programming of various kinds to take place here in the community center. Now, this would be difficult at that time for town employees to get going because nobody is in that position. So Tom really is extremely helpful in making that offer. We happily took advantage of him, and he really proved just how doable it was. So that when time came for him to step down, the town could then come in, hire people for something that was a proven need. And so that's why you now have the folks who are now doing that, keeping that up. And so that really makes the kickstart difference. I think one of the pictures we have a picture or two from the groundbreaking, which was right before COVID. This is one of the last things I remember right before COVID. I think February, I want to say, of 2001. And so that's when there's still nothing on this land here. That is the groundbreaking. The early part of COVID, if anything, it actually was beneficial because the contractors didn't have a whole lot of other work to do. And so we actually were ahead of schedule for a lot of the project. At the very end, the weather was not terribly cooperative, but also at the very end, when you were actually putting in the fixtures, the kitchen, and things like that, that's when the supply chain problems caught up with us. So at the end of COVID, it kind of bounced off. I think originally, I think we had hoped to have the grand opening maybe beginning of the summer of 2021. I think we ended up doing it around Labor Day